Okay, in today's video, we are going to go over what's working in 2025 as far as email and SMS go. Yeah, I think as as the owner of an email agency, we've had to evolve our processes, our systems, and that includes evolving with the ecosystem of Shopify, right? And things are constantly changing. So in order to get ahead in 2025, there's a couple of key things I think you should consider as you think about strategy, for your own brand or for your clients. And yeah, this is kind of an interesting discussion to have. So let's just go over a couple things. So I'm going to be going over some tech stack stuff, what's kind of working in email right now, and just of that ilk. So let's get into it. So, I had a really interesting tweet I read by this guy, Phil. Um, let's see. How is Judge Me so cheap? What is this black magic? I've seen 8-figure stores using it, paying $15 a month. Their support appears to be good too. Seems like it breaks the conventional business triangle of choosing two of speed, price, quality, and just does it all. What am I missing? So a lot of these SaaSes are honestly just really expensive, and there's like tech bloat, right? And so there are people actually coding their own apps right now that clone Shopify's current apps that are really popular and expensive and offering it at a lower cost. There are apps like Judge Me who like refuse to overcharge people, right? And just delivering unmatched value. So I think what's working in 2025 is like constantly refining your tech stack and seeing like where can I cut costs, right? And that kind of is going to honestly be the overarching theme of this entire conversation, right? So when we think about tech stack, we want to think about what's effective and also what is getting the correct price to value, right? I like this pop-up Alia a lot. Pop-ups that make you money. You can see on this sidebar, they'll have this pop-up where you can get like your normal pop-up, but they'll also give you an extra 5% off if you complete like a questionnaire that collects zero-party data. It's got great design, white glove service. Their pricing is really fair. So you can kind of play with it here and see how many visitors, you're getting. But yeah, I really like them. And I mean, this basically is bringing up the notion of when we get to the tech stack considerations and finding something cheaper, you also want to find something that's better. And the Klaviyo pop-ups, even though it comes with the pricing of Klaviyo on the ESB, I have seen like performance that has far exceeded that of Klaviyo's pop-ups testing third-party apps. And that's Optimonk, Alia, Amped. Like we're getting a 24% sign-up rate, right? If we go to day, how many is that actually, right? Let's go to custom, and then let's go to the 12th, right? We had 100 email signups off 469 or views or 20%. It's really good, right? And I don't even look at honestly the signup rate. I just look at the straight up email and SMS signups, and if that's better or greater than Klaviyo's, then like great, So yeah, I think third-party pop-up apps are working really good for email in 2025. I really like Black Crow. I'm starting to test it on a large brand. They're really expensive. They don't have their pricing because it's like $1,000 a month, but they do a couple different things using AI. So if we look at life cycle marketing, which is email marketing, they do a couple interesting things. Like there's branded storefronts with personalized recommendations. On abandoned checkout, if you click like return to cart, you can have a pre-populated items in their cart in a more branded storefront like view. So when they go back, it's not just checkout, but it like just looks better. Personalized cross-sell prospect subscription series. So they'll predict with timing basically what they actually would, what would actually make sense to sell, right? So a natural complementary cross-sell or upsell, right? Driven to drive conversion. So like well-timed and well product placed like objects, right? predictive modeling. I don't know how much I believe in this, but basically they think that you can trigger the pop-up at any time given their statistical AI sample model, and it will be a better, higher converting pop-up rate. I think the main value is identity resolution. So cookie depreciation is kind of interesting. So Klaviyo has a 5-day cookie window and they don't store that data either. Whereas if you have Black Grow, they will have a longer tailwind of stored cookie information. And so if someone went into your store and like did an opt-in, for example, months ago, and they come in again, if you're using Black Crow, they'll be able to effectively like trigger them. So I think it's incredible for identity resolution. It's probably the best value in use case. So continuing to refine your tech stack and looking for like innovative and cutting edge solutions is a big theme for 2025. Okay. So yeah, and that goes into that same convo around cutting costs on tech bloat, right? So like using those valuable apps and cutting costs. So Klaviyo just instituted a auto downgrade option. Before, you would upgrade manually, say if it was Black Friday and you went from 100K profiles to all your profiles, maybe that's 300K. And then next month, if you didn't downgrade, you'd get billed again, even though you're not sending as many emails to as many people, right? You go back to your engaged sending list after unsuppressing and blasting to unsuppressed. So now they have an auto downgrade option. So you wouldn't have this before. So people would get charged exorbitant fees for sends and profiles that they weren't sending to. And now with this auto downgrade option, you can downgrade your email plan with your active profile count, at a lower tier from what you had before, right? So they have flexible sending, they have auto downgrade options. This is like just great for cutting costs. Okay. The last thing I want to kind of bring up is like what's working specifically in email. And what I've seen personally working is emotional storytelling in the age of AI, right? So AI is affecting, how we communicate with people visually and verbally and like text wise. And if you can really create crafting, compelling stories that kind of break through, you're going to drive higher conversions, right? And they will surpass anything that can be created with AI. Right. In this case, I wrote this email about a warning that people get when they try to follow Van Man's Instagram because of him, conflicting with the policy guidelines of Instagram. And I turned that into an email campaign. Are you sure you want to follow us? Are you sure you want to follow Van Man? Because we have a dangerous proposition, right? We're an incredible, healthy, holistic company who's not filtered by any means. Usually get like 2 to 3K on campaigns. We're on like 1 day click for the attribution window, and we pulled up 6K, right? So that's really good. Same thing with this email, kind of emotional. It did 5K about. It should go over 5, I'm sure. And yeah, we launched a billboard. They launched a billboard above the first apartment that they ever had. Studio when they were first creating Van Man. So really, really nice story, right? So what's working in 2025? Let me just conclude this. So what's actually working in 2025, like this whole video, if you couldn't tell, almost had nothing to do with the email. It had everything to do with tech stack, right? So I think cutting costs and getting closer to value in apps that actually like work and drive incremental revenue is a big thing for 2025. The unbundling of the Shopify app ecosystem where people are cloning competitors and offering them cheaper, using like AI when you can, when it makes sense, testing third-party pop-ups specifically for email, emotional storytelling in the age of AI. I think the last thing to probably bring up is that the ESPs are getting better and more competitive, right? SendLane made a big marketing play, but obviously the product wasn't totally there. The CEO ended up leaving. MailChimp acquired Amped, a really famous pop-up software, and they've made huge strides in their email software to go closer to parity with Klaviyo. And now Yotpo just launched an email product last year, and we've been testing it. It's working really well. I mean, it has almost all the same features as Klaviyo as far as the core table stake stuff. And we've been doing some migrations that they've sent us, and it's like 20 to 40% cheaper. So yeah, I really really am liking them so far. So even alternatives to the ESPs, this is all, if you can tell, it just has to do with like tech stack blow. So I think cutting costs where it makes sense and utilizing apps that bring greater value than ever before is kind of the meta, right? So that's what's working in 2025, and coupling that with being a really good product, a really good brand, really good storytelling, right? And cutting through the noise of AI. This is how brands are going to be successful today. That's it. Peace. Like, subscribe, and that's it.